Speaking about this particular issue, slavery reparations, Obekaya, a few months ago, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, he went to the United States of America, where the UN headquarters is situated. Now, Kohono, Namani is simple, and what he sent there was a simple message. Said the colonial slavery mentality, and how Ghana colonialism some many centuries ago, no, affected Africa for not just Africa. It has also affected and depleted the resources no yes yeah can, and because of that no ebeyanka UN for more adopt be a brony beka say reparations and slavery reparation resolution I say okay slavery na yeah na bro for no ebeye wa Africa no say bi omedienya to your resources more, and we've lost a lot. And because of that, we need to call it say slavery itself, is the biggest crime against humanity. Now, me no kasa sabre, this particular resolution, we say Mahama ko en ya pass it. But a remarkable thing which have happened over the past few days, the Church of Scotland or Maba outer or more parties say they want to apologize for their role in the slavery. Now, more money no Church of Scotland sorry which is based in Scotland. But then just like how the missionaries and many missionary churches about Ghana, they were one way or the other also involved in slavery. Roman Catholic, definitely they came doing the missionary work, but also they were benefiting from slavery, and as they had slave masters, not just Roman Catholic, the Methodists, the Presbyterian, and co. Now, the Church of Scotland, and let's put this on the screen because someone will say that this is definitely a big win for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We'll show the whole screen, so I'll say Church of Scotland officially apologizes for its role in slavery. Church of Scotland officially apologizes for its role in slavery. So this is just exactly what really happened. Now, since some way by there's been many calls because me know Kase Kudu to Blakwa on the social media handle page, Twitter to be precise, or the same baby Echo Tuja. He actually honored this particular thing by. So on your screens, also Ghana welcomes the apology of the Church of Scotland for its role in the transatlantic enslavement. It's always better late than never. We look forward to working with the Church at our Next Steps conference on June 17 to 19, 2026, hosted by President John Dramani Mahama in Accra, following the landmark adoption of the UN of the Ghana-led resolution declaring the transatlantic enslavement as the greatest or the gravest crime against humanity. So this is what Ghana's foreign minister, Okututu Ablakwa, who actually pioneered or championed this particular bill, which went to the UN. Ultimately, it was adopted. Now, one of the things also, and one of the remarkable things which also did happen, basically when the Church of Scotland, they actually came out and actually BBC even reported on it. So on your screens, a screenshot of what the BBC actually reported. As you can see on the screens, also the Church of Scotland apologized for its role in slavery, and down also the Church of Scotland has issued a formal apology for its historical role in slavery. Now, far from that, to many people together with even the Church of Scotland, who pages now, they even wrote a newsletter detailing this. Can you please make it big for me? As you can see, we'll share the whole screen. So I'll say church grieved beyond telling in apology for historical links with slavery. So enlarge it for us for exactly what we are talking about. I'll say church grieved beyond telling in apology for historical links with slavery. So the church is now saying, this whole thing that happened is something which should never have happened. They are very much shocked. They feel so sad, and they really regret this because, in as much as the current people at the church and in the church, they don't bear any links or ties to this slavery. The foundation of the church itself, was built by slave masters. So what they can do is that even though their forefathers did it, they want to apologize. Now, Osha newsletter Nasia, you be ready kakra. Also, the Church of Scotland has apologized to its historical relationships with chattel slavery. Now, Pacha say the church had some links or perhaps some relationship with the chattel slavery. No, it is mono a kamya said this more like an organization which was enlisting slaves, which was taking the services of slaves, perhaps to build churches and also do certain works for the ministry. Down, also the apology which was adopted at the General Assembly said the Kirks is grieved beyond telling the extraordinary suffering we have inflicted. Though through our actions and our inaction on our brothers and sisters, it added, repent, committing ourselves to changing course and bearing fruit worthy of repentance. So that's exactly what a year in Sema. The Church of Scotland, Ogyaba to just say the slavery did happen, but unfortunately, they can't just wipe out the many years of these inhumane treatment a course. So that is something that ultimately, at the end of the day, they can't really tell. So if it has happened, it has happened. But then what they will do is that they can only apologize. This is exactly what is really going on. Therefore, you better also near call in some for eso. Really going on, and clearly, there are issues here among Kasa. And reacting to this, we've seen that Ayakujo Tablakwa came out to say yes, the Church of Scotland did the right thing. What they also want is that they want countries like the UK, the United Kingdom, and also the United States of America to follow suit. Mind you, when this whole thing happened, the UK came out with a position and said, yes, the slavery they did, they regret. But then to say they will pay reparations, no, they wouldn't. And US also backed the same claim, saying, the slavery happened, it happened over 1,000 or so years ago. And these were things which were done by our great grandfathers and grandmothers and our ancestors. This is a new era. We need to focus on something that but then you see that what this government, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama or New Kututa Blacka, what they are aiming at is reparations. So okay, because the gold, the resources and other things that we had, Africa, that is to some people. So now Kututa Blacka is telling us, fine, he looks forward to having an engagement with the Church of Scotland on this particular issue. He believes that at the end of the day, if even they don't get any money from the Church of Scotland, or perhaps they coming out to see that this is something which was abhorrent, which is not good, and then at the end of the day, they feel so sad to even be associated with it. They believe that going forward, for generations to come, I think in Chiba Sheikh, at least the Church of Scotland came out to say this thing that they really indulged themselves in was very abhorrent. So that's exactly what is really going on. Now we'll move on straight to other issues, because there is a lot of issues at ECOSO. Now, still on the issues of religious and our religion, near go straight to the camp of Prophet Ogyaba. Go straight to the camp of Prophet Ogyaba. Now, Prophet Ogyaba, but then now he's in the news basically for something. He's in the news because he and the Ghana Revenue Authority, they've locked horns after a GRA or mobile out. Ebeka say, and now to him, and to Prophet Ogyaba, no, the GRA is hunting him for taxes and revenue. Now, Prophet Ogyaba or the same Bibre Atuja, for the starters, more money Prophet Ogyaba. As a new or positive video or better not a the bev that is a posing a Hona GR reform or money a year Ghana other services like the Registrar General's Department or more times I'm so okay into pastor who scout to go chain to go chair mu go chain who will come at you. You need to pay your taxes and I just say on source. Oh, what have I done? Yanko Teen Sama a Prophet Ogyaba or the two. When we come back, we'll continue this particular update.
Abushia GRE4 mesra mo memenya politics o enti so obi na aba abehye mochi abechu kume pesa mo stress me na minwu a me ye nyina ye oman bapa ye minim no se nya aban no kwa ne bie enwuma se nkofo nye se me ma bie enwuma na my employ nipa 100 so my contribution for the betterment of Ghana and on a million. One casamucho letter at the by say Tas ni baby or ha mean triaye. More key nina my baba bichia. And yes, a man trio, me tria magic. Movie a mamma certificate, mamma me receipt, a chile say, my baba bichia. Movie ya no masancho another letter. Eddie Abbase. Me declare my source of income. Now, more whom my source of income I can be between our task. Ade amu ye. Mu treat nipa na waka me say Oye temamuni ne te sɛ de ofiri Togo. Abra Nigeria fo bebree ye nnwuma ɛwɔ asase ne so a ɔmo de ɔmo nya ɔmo tire didi mu nenam. China fo ye adwuma wɔ asase ne so a ɔmo nya ɔmo tire didi mu ɔmo nenam. Yɛn na yɛyɛ Ghana ni mapa asase ne yɛyɛ dia na yɛnya ahohoɔ no yɛn yɛ momu die mo pɛ kwan bi so sɛ mo stress yɛn me pa cho me menye politics sanka me yɛ politics pa na nka me so me wɔ nsɛm ka papa because of NDC ho yɛkye mo akyimkye bi akufo adukurum hɔ na wo mudi me ko gina court ni made o mode bɔ me ɔmo hunu ne sɛ kye na ɔmo kye me no nyansa bi anim ɔmo se me count ne say unlawful use of Ghana coat of arms. Unim kwa mo fa so mo che me. Man ko ye boni bia o. Enyinam me ne me driver nam say ya security ti anim. Na me ne me driver nam say ya na me driver na. Ese o yi afa ho na nka yakɔ anim ho ni apɛ ba bia ye na waye ne ho yi. Driver ni yi fa ho ana mo che yen. Unim so mo de ekɔ police station no mo ja driver na wo twi car no ama omo de me omo de handcuff gu me nsa de me kɔtun na ka wei kan nam hi kusi hi ekyire ɛna omo anka sɛ mu bi be ka kyem sɛ order from above ni nyina sɛ omo so omo ache Dr. Ogyaba na emum omo anya asɛm bi amfa nto me so a ani bɛba ho wɔ ɔman anim. Inti yɛde me ko gina court om say unlawful use of Ghana coat of arms. Eno na judge no mkokoto no wɔ hɔ no. Judge ne say no. Ade amone so fu yidi. Enye. O ma lawyer fo wo ho nyina bo saa de nde hyɛ computer so a. Emra ne say ma asɛm ede. Me ye Ghana ni me wo kwanse me use Ghana coat of arms. Ɛwɔ me came. Me wo kwanse me use Ghana flag ɛwɔ me came. Mi jina adaka ni mudin man tintasuo ba ko si antofo mankasa ehwe police fo na ni mudin mankasa o because silence speaks louder than making noise mankasa enfi omo eno ose judge ne ka say osofo si form call baby man sam ma chikura nko police station ho say me kwa kotwetwam because enye case papa bi ano me de to me so ho no omo ankasa na nim kwan omo fa so omo twetwam mansi police station obi so they were thinking say me kura mesi wom satam nim dam pare ene ne nkofo na ye mesa ni nyina ya politics ho adan a omo ahwe me video bi a me ka kire obi say nipa kro no enche obeba be ye adwuma so obompa yi obeye adwuma under Mahama's government intia ne saade a me ye NDC prophet. Because that time no Mahama ewo opposition na yede na ohye obi nkom se ye ba beto abai nipa kwa no mompa ye na obeba be ye adwuma under Mahama's government was he in opposition. Mempe politics sa no ma se mhunu se nti mempe politics kra enti se obi aba na wono nso ba bichukume a kire mo se politics me patro me menye politics GRE menye politics the way I'm more stressing me no me Ghana ni mapa nye India ni the way I'm more stressing me no me patro emra no enkyere saa enti se me bana se me declare me source of income me mo ankasa ma yam investigation ehunu se adwuma me ye ni mo anso mu nim se me ye sofo.
All right, so that was a Prophet Ogyaba in Sema or the Tuja. According to him, no, this whole thing, to him, he views it as an attack. But then, if I went into screens, so because Ghana Web also has a different perspective. Because your report here, and as you can see, also, why did you ask about my income before taking my taxes? Prophet Ogyaba fires GRA. So now, no, you read explicitly what is here. Or say, Prophet Ogyaba has publicly criticized the Ghana Revenue Authority over what he describes as continuous scrutiny despite settling his tax obligations. So here, Ogyaba is telling us, say, and you say untua tax utua, but kamia ko say GRA reformer to omeni esine so. Now, if further goes on to say, in a video shared on social media on May 20, 2026, Prophet Ogyaba questioned why the tax authority is demanding explanations about his source of income after previously accepting his tax payments and issuing him clearance documents. You know, Ogyaba bisa say, for some time now, Nigeria they be more afraid besides say, na sika ye ba account ni ade and tiase. No say se mo ba be audit me. Ama mama mo sika minya. Ama mama maka chem say taxes we na wo say mitria. So why on earth is it that now no ma say twa mo ho e be ka say sika na mo be bisa no kra na ye de ma mo no. I say swap because mo sha sika on my account mo pa. And trust us this is to the GRA. I want to tell you that I don't do politics. If it's someone who is amongst you that's bringing allegations and wants to stress me for me to die, it won't work on my side, he said. According to the preacher, he received an earlier notice from the GRA indicating that he owed taxes, which he subsequently settled in full. You brought me a letter saying that there are some taxes I have not paid, but I later went to clear all the debts. After making payment, you gave me a certificate and receipt that shows that I've paid, he explained. So now, no, or part say, you did kind man a letter, I'm an idea to so okay, I did can see, which you are Nyema and I car or dinny, I'm more settle. Or settle so. Mo ma say twa mo aba say sika na otwa any crazy Charlie opa say they be on tiasie now opa just say all that is going on, we believe say nkofo bi na say chi a omo ye niam wi se be aden deal omo ni business e be back from and potentially no which will ultimately lead him to death. Oka say they want to stress me so that I die and not just say it won't work. So that is Ogyaba, but we all know that tax obligations are tax obligations, but we don't know if Ogyaba perhaps he needs to also hear from GRA accounts because he did come on a letter. I'm not settle debts. Why then would the GRA come out and come and say okay, idea the bar out, no, let any the mouse scanner who try no, as a which you but ye feel said there is more. And I think said that is a part ultimately amount for parties a GRA for they need to come back again. You don't hand people for money, especially if you've given them their tax details, I'm more clearance. What the hell is really going on? So that's exactly what is really going on now. Menoka say, this whole thing has sparked a whole lot of criticism on social media. Now we'll move straight near the camp of Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama on Manasseh Azuri, and also the issue about Abronya. So let's move on straight to this particular issue. Menoka says His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Menoka says His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Menoka say, we all know whatever is going on. But then currently, Menoka say, nipa bakwa wababe kasa amidst da Bronye arrest and Baumiaba arrest over niema omaka Bruni beka say insightful hate and violence against a certain president. And in fact, in law terms, we will say Bruni beka say treasonable offenses, and these treasonable offenses, most at times and more at times, they are punishable by death. Now, if I went into screens, so I say President Mahama said, President Mahama, you shouldn't sit and watch people get arrested for exercising their right to free speech. This your legacy, defend it. Now, this is coming from seasoned journalist Manasseh Azuri, who is saying, all these things are air cost and I miss all the arrests near the Adine. Kamia said, now, if someone even coughs, they arrest the person. And this was the same John Dramani Mahama when he was in opposition. Saying so, I didn't yache Captain Smart, I didn't yache Muntie 3. And yes, still, he has come to power, and it's like he's just competing to break the record of Akufo-Addo for arresting the most journalists during a president's tenure. When Manasseh Azuri, Ababe Kasa. But regardless, Minu Kasa is here. On the flip side, Abronya yesterday was granted bail, and today, Kamiako says he's met all his bail obligations. Minu Kasa, there's a video involved. You could see Abronya together with a wife and a lawyer, as Osifi and PFP, the High Court, and you could hear cheers and also people rowing. Said, this is it. Young video, back up. We will continue this particular update. Hey. All right, so that was a year abronye ebrana ofi a year court premises hall. But then regardless no enya abronye any baomiamba nkwa no mo face this particular issue air koso. There are other issues who are air koso people are basically talking about it. Mind you, who to me is also facing a battle of his own. I mean, no say you know a year the Attorney General Ayini were dropping and are filing new charges against Chema Wuntumi. Far from that, to the court is also demanding that Chema Wuntumi brings out a witness because case now depending on how the case goes, Wuntumi's legacy could be tarnished and as he could end up at the wrong side of the law. Regardless, in the workers, Chema Wuntumi workers, no, Omaba Beka out looking at all that aforementioned, what is going on? The also Chema Wuntumi abra boom the persistent persecution. Almost all no say a Samra boy and forest any other reserves no. Even though yes to me yeah no I see I want to me on your no. Still now the forest is being dark and Agalam say is going on. So what is really going on? Now the other thing also has to do with Abronye, his consistent arrest while someone like Emitila rose and insult former president. The other thing also has to do with social media influencers on TikTok, on Facebook, criticizing the government, the next thing they are picked up by the cybercrime unit. All of these things, I'm a Wuntumi workers, purchases, see an idea, Wuntumi crown, Omekuna, or Munkun. You could see some Wuntumi workers, or Mulituja. When we come back, we will continue this particular update.
Hey, the end is a 4% of your Biomufanya Wuntumi, Umbeko Munkuno, no Monto party. There will be a day they will go to opposition.
Oh, yes.
Oh, 2028, yeah.
And some people will pay for it.
Oh, yes.
I know, now me share video be, and then say Adam TV or Adam FM. And the host, you know, was talking about Sama boyna yedi Wuntumi jina court to say wako say kwaye honum. Go there today.
Go and see.
The destruction.
I'm say no film ampuni. Ampo J Bano.
Yeah. That go there today and see the destruction. Enipe guoye juma.
Hey.
And if not persecution, the only you want to me, Nyansa Sema woman say.
Extra say.
What I say? And there are some people in our party. Hey, I'm a Moses, Nasabi Yesu Christo grab a since a yum, Casa Mesremo Munya, they will not listen. They will pay some people in the NDC back with the same dose or even a double dose of what they are giving to the MPP today.
I'm for Kayo, debt ya
But what time we have shot at war?
Ebia sabre no. Na man pene jo Mahama. Odini man pene you akwata na baby you. A few people in the NDC they have some way to maneuver. But the young ones are more vulnerable no. And it is very worrying. It's very worrying. Man, Penila say what to do Kanimu. Say a close radio station be down. Property. Oh, buy next month. Now 5 radio stations of Wuntumi multimedia. Afini. Yeneka. Yenyashi. What tum keke because a Wuntumi dia. What tum?
To me.
Ti nipa no mo ye adwuma wa ha radio na no mo ye ho adwuma no se ombedi di omoyire omoma school fees onfa ho Officer won't to me na would eat no. And the radio much to 2 minutes. About the order of the day. About say radio stations being ready, say they will go down.
Yes, and the.
And untina says veteran may have a home come once. Because I have accepted it. We will only work hard for the MPP to come back to power, and we will just identify some radio stations with no reason. Nasana was yet now. As of mine, Okwaka, Obit baby, and none wonder where yes, and Nuntina John Mahama share but say, Ogyaba corrected the wrongs. But the Mian 7 December. That's the between Amampeni, Dr. Baumia, I swear in and Saturday was here. You see, that is not how we should live. But even how they want us to live, we will accept it and live as such.